Hi, everyone. I'm Nikki Rosenberg, and welcome to the Invest with Nikkei podcast, where we talk all about real estate, wealth building, and building your fire so you can build financial independence to retire early. And today I'm super excited. We have an incredible guest, a great friend, very knowledgeable person with us today, going to share all about the Jacksonville market. Welcome, Dashia LoCoco. She is a savvy STR agent in the Jacksonville market.
Hey,
Welcome.
Nikki, what's going on?
Excited to have you.
Thank you.
Thank
Excited to be here. Thanks for having me today.
Yeah, it's we've been talking about it and now we're making it happen,
Yeah.
right? So today we're going to talk all about the Jacksonville market and why people should invest there and what made you invest there, and I want to learn just all about the fun stuff that's going on there because I know so much is happening. So to start, how about just introducing yourself to everyone, letting them know, what brought you to Jacksonville, what you do, and why you do it.
Yeah. So my name's Dashia LoCoco. I actually moved to Jacksonville about 2 years ago, and I just fell in love with the city. I know you think that's funny because you've
Yes.
lived there before too, and
Yep.
you're a St. Augustine girl,
Yep.
but I just feel like there's so much vibrant, amazing things happening in Jacksonville
Mhm.
right now, and I'm just excited to be a part of it, honestly. I kind
Mm,
of feel like everything falls into place as it's supposed to, and
yeah.
this is where I was supposed to be, definitely.
Yeah.
I travel nursed, as you know, for 14 years and lived all
Hmm.
over the country. Lived in California, Indiana, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and by far Jacksonville is my favorite.
So, Daisha, I know you have an incredible vision for blending wellness with real estate investing. I want to know, tell me about your vision.
Yeah. Yeah, so I kind of got into holistic nursing when I was traveling and living in Southern California, and decided that when I do the short-term rentals, I really want to have an experience-based option. So
Mm,
what I want to do is add in, wellness features, partner with local people in the community, yoga instructors, Pilates instructors, sound bath,
mm,
Reiki, massage, you name it. If it's healthy, I want to have that as an option to give to my customers who are coming in and renting from me. So that way they have, if you have a little downtime and you want to have a couples massage inside of your place, well, you can
mm.
always book that with me and I can have that set up for you when you decide to come. And so the people that I've talked to in the community, they're really excited about this and they really want to make this happen. So
Yeah.
it's pretty neat.
And the
Yeah.
wellness trend is just blowing up in short-term rentals. I mean,
Yeah.
I see whole wellness-based resorts. And
Uh,
so you having
eventually.
I know
That's
that's
the
the big
goal.
goal. That's just awesome. But, like stepping stones, right? And you starting, it's not even small. I mean, you're literally starting with a multi-family building. That's not small. That's a big deal, right? To
Yeah.
have, a property in the historic area of Jacksonville. Not only are you contributing to the community by revitalizing the property, but you're
Yeah.
also, helping people by bringing them this wellness concept and this incredible experience. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it employs, I love short-term rentals because they employ people. You have your electricians, your plumbers, your pool people, your cleaners, everybody who comes in and makes that business function.
yeah.
That's another job for the community. And so I love to be able to extend that to the wellness side as
Yeah.
well and be
Yeah.
able to, offer that instead of just having to go to the studio to do your yoga class. Well, let's have it on my pool deck and let's do that
Hmm.
instead.
Yeah.
And then it's more, intimate, and you probably, the thing is that with multi units, you can rent as an STR manager. You can rent one unit or you can rent all four together,
Yeah.
which is kind of nice because it gives the option to the renter to be able to say, hey, I have a party of 6 people that are coming,
Hmm.
and we'd like to have our own spaces at the end of the night
Yeah.
instead of sharing a bunk bed or whatever it might be. You have your own kitchen, your own bathroom that you can retreat to. And then in the morning, we're going to do yoga together outside, and then we're going to take a dip in the pool.
Yes.
So, it's just kind of gives you that flexibility with multifamilies that you can't
Yeah.
get with a single family.
Yeah, and with the multifamily, we call that like a parent-child listing where you can rent the whole property as one one, or you can rent the individual units. So you have like, you actually have multiple listings out there. So one listing would show that whole property, and then the individual listings would show the individual units. And so a group can book the whole place, or, you know, different parties can book each individual unit. So that's definitely a strategy. And then one thing that I know that you talked about a lot is like the ability to kind of have mixed uses with multifamily properties. You know, you're not just stuck to the short-term rentals, right? So
yeah, so a lot of my clients working with Savvy, they want to capture that 100% bonus depreciation in the first year. So the way that you do that really is that you kind of run that yourself. And so you can have the first year be all short-term rentals and capture that bonus depreciation. Now, let's say year two, you know, maybe you don't want to do that anymore. You can always transition and have a stable long-term person in there. And then the other units, maybe you could do medium-term traveling nurses, traveling professionals, and then have a short-term rental. So there's many options with the multifamily that are wonderful. You know, you're going to be able to have a lot of flexibility to do whatever it is that you want afterwards.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so you, as a, you know, investment focused realtor, and, you know, most of our business that we do is short-term rentals. You know, I feel like tapping into that multi-units in Jacksonville is really like your kind of sweet spot.
Yeah.
So, you know, to share with everyone, you know, what you're seeing and from a deal perspective, like what's working, you know, how much are these multi-units? How many units are there?
Yeah.
You know, what kind of ideas do you have to really make them perform well as a short-term rental? What areas are they in? You know, talk about all that.
Well, I mean, Jacksonville's massive. Duval County is the biggest city in the country.
Yeah. Biggest landmass. You're right. Yes.
So it's very spread out, and there's a lot of different areas of it. So you have the beach, of course, and the beaches do very well, and those have some super properties, but not really, you know, massive super properties. A lot of the design there is very beach basic, I would call it.
Beach basic. That's a good term.
And so, you know, there's not really anybody that's doing something that's just absolutely stand out. Oh my gosh. So a lot of people can get into that market for approximately, you know, 800 to 1.2, somewhere around there, depending on how many bedrooms. And usually 5-6 bedrooms do the best, of course, because there's a lot of families that are coming into Jacksonville, and so they want to have a room for everyone. Yes. So I usually look for garage conversions. You know, if you get a 4-bedroom and you can convert the garage, you can get it at a cheaper price.
Right.
And then, you know, I would say the ones that are going now are doing about 150 to 250, and that just depends on design.
So that's 150,000 to 250,000 in gross revenue a year on maybe $1 million or 1.2 purchase. That's a great return.
It is, and you know, if you really did the standout design, you could definitely get at least 50 to 100 more than that.
I agree. And what I always tell my clients is, you know, this is such a long-standing vacation rental market. You know, people have been coming here forever for second homes, for vacations, because we're at the beach and we have amazing beaches, white sand, beautiful beaches. And the people that have been doing vacation rentals, you know, remember, vacation rentals started before Airbnb. And that's actually when I started in it too. And back then, you know, you just had grandma's furniture and a property. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of those out there still. 90 to 95. I'm just guessing. This is not a real statistics. You know, most statistics are made up.
Yeah.
But most of them are still doing that.
Yeah.
And so it's awesome because, you know, we have an opportunity. Yeah. If you come in with a top tier property with there's nobody
automatically number one.
Yeah, exactly. And crushing it and crushing all those revenue ceilings. So Jack's Beach is a great option. I know there's a lot of nightlife over there, a lot of just foodie culture and all that happening, but there's so many other great areas too, right?
Yeah. So pivoting away from the beach, my personal favorite area and where we bought is Riverside, Springfield, San Marco. Yeah. So, you know, a lot of people don't realize that you have the beach, but then you also have the St. Johns River. And so where that cuts across, it's just as beautiful there. I mean, and everything that they're doing downtown, all the redevelopments and renovations, it's really neat to see how this is evolving, how this market is changing. Like every day before my eyes, a new build is proposed. And it's like, wow, this is going to be so cool in a few years, just a few
Right.
short years away. And
Yeah.
so it's a great time right now to get in this market because you can capture that appreciation too.
Yes.
So it's like, you know, you're not just getting in at a lower entry point than most places in Florida, but you're also capturing the appreciation that won't be there, you know, 5-10 years down the road.
Right, because it's
So,
all happening now.
yeah.
And this is like the ground floor, right?
Yeah, it really is.
So before we go into all the development, which
Yeah.
is so exciting, so juicy, you guys need to keep listening. Okay. Let's talk
Keep listening.
tell me about those multifamily deals in
Yeah.
Riverside, Springfield, San Marco, your favorite areas, which by the way, my aunt lived there, and actually it was their family house that my grandmother owned right on Challen
Riverside,
Ave
right?
in Riverside.
Yeah.
So I literally grew up being in Riverside, you know, and I do love that area,
Yeah.
you know, as much as I pick on Jacksonville sometimes, you know, because of what it was, not what it's becoming, you know, I did
It's
love
vastly
it.
different.
It's got such a sense of community, and, you know, the people there are just, they love it. There's definitely this like, Duval,
Yes.
you know, like, you had to do it. We had to do it. You're doing it before you leave. But
Okay.
like, there's definitely like this sense of pride about Jacksonville. I remember one of my really good friends, actually, she grew up, you know, living in Jacksonville and all those areas.
Yeah.
And when she came to St. Augustine, I was like, oh, well, I just love St. Augustine, la, 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 you know, like I just,
And
you
she's
know,
like, I like Jacksonville.
I'm the
That's
St.
like
Augustine
me.
girl. Literally, she was just like you. And she was also a Virgo, but
Hey,
she
represent.
was like, I don't understand why you like St. Augustine so much. And then she got here and she,
Seems great.
Yeah.
I love it.
then
It's
she
amazing.
got here and she got the bug and she loved it. But she was like, she loved just all the, like, just, there's just so
It's
much.
electric.
Yes.
You know, it feels
Yes.
electric. It feels like you're on the verge of something. You know,
Yes.
like you can feel it. It's right there. And travel nursing, I got to experience that in a lot of cities with Airbnb. You know, it's kind of funny. When I was living in Los Angeles, I Airbnb'd my second bedroom.
Oh, yeah.
This is before.
I've done that.
This is
Been there.
This is before, you know, all of the permitting and everything.
Yeah.
And so I loved it. I was like, oh my gosh. So I was before putting traveling nurses in there, and they would be there for 3 to 6 months at a time, and I would always have a constant roommate.
Yeah.
But with Airbnb, I could make the same amount of money
Right.
and only have somebody in that room like 5 or 6 days a month.
Yes.
And it was so easy because I lived there. I just turned over the room. Everything was clean and spotless
Yeah.
and ready to go and fully stocked. And I was like, okay, I could.
That's when you first got the bug,
That's when I
right?
first got the
Yeah.
bug of Airbnb. I was like, okay.
Yes.
And then, you know, kept travel nursing. And I would stay in Airbnbs, and
Mm-hmm.
Furnish Finder is how I would find all of my places to stay. So that's kind of how I started in all of this. And then I just knew that Florida is where I wanted to grow roots.
Yes.
So that's why we chose Jacksonville, because everything I read of all the other places to live, you know, I was like, okay, well, this is a cool spot, but it's already being done. Jacksonville, not so much yet.
Right.
I didn't realize what I was getting myself into.
Yeah. So before we go into why that shift has happened, let's dive into those multifamilies.
Yeah.
So like talk
you
about what
can-
works with those multi-units.
You can get a multifamily, like we got ours. It was posted for $689, and we ended up offering $650 with seller credits, and my commission paid.
Yes.
So I
So what
still
was
got
your
paid
seller
commission.
credit?
So,
ask?
you know, at first we kind of went back and forth on negotiations,
Yeah.
but what we ended on was $18,000 for my commission,
Yep.
and then we did let's see,
I think you ended up getting
3%. I think we did 3% on it. 24,000
Yep.
is
Yep.
what we ended up getting for that. So
Yes.
yeah, so we got that for a great deal, and then it didn't appraise, and luckily, they didn't really have any issues with it. They were like, "Yeah, okay, so we got it for 600 minus my seller credits and commission, and it puts us at like 550." something.
Wow.
Yeah, so
That's a
and
steal.
It's already, you know, probably 700 right now without us doing anything to it.
Wow.
So
That's amazing.
yeah, so it's great. And so I love for my clients to be able to kind of make things like that happen for them as well, and get them in. But with these multifamilies, and I have a lot of them, and especially in the Riverside area, Mostly fourplexes, and a lot of them are 1-1s.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do the design correctly, those are grossing 30 to 40K each.
Each unit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's just,
And we'll
based on
soon.
comps
Right.
that they're not really doing that great. They do have grandma's furniture, or they do have IKEA furniture, or they've done a little bit of the upgrade.
Right.
But, nobody's really doing that standout property. I don't
Yes.
have comps when I go into
Well, you're going to have one
Airbnb.
case study soon.
I know, I'm
two.
so excited.
Your property and then your client's property.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're going to be pushing, like, personally based on experience. Now, obviously there's no guarantee to this, and I never like to overinflate numbers.
Yeah.
But I really feel like we're going to be pushing like 60 to 70,000 on
too.
those top tier 1-bedroom units. I see it in other markets, which is why I know it's possible. And we have the tourism demand here. It's just nobody.
That's the key right there.
Yeah, it's just nobody has the product that people are willing to pay that for. So when we create the product, you create the product that people are willing to pay for, I really feel like we're going to be able to reach those type of numbers. So, and how much are those multifamily buildings? You bought yours for, $550 cost basis, but like, what are you seeing right now of what's active on the market?
Between 600 and 800
Okay.
is usually the sweet spot's about 650, I would say, for most of them. And then, of course, they're old historic districts, so they do need renovations. So
How old are we talking?
we're talking early 1900s.
Okay,
so
gotcha.
Mine was built in 1958, so I kind of got lucky on that
Ooh.
one. So it's non-contributing.
You got
to
a
the
young one.
Historical Society. Exactly. But yeah, so you have to understand that when you get into these properties, you're going to come back on inspections with a lot of things. But
Yes.
I love to tell my clients, hey, that's all right, because we're going to use that as the negotiating tool.
That's right.
They're going to see that electrical needs to be replaced, plumbing needs to be replaced, and we're going to get it done.
Yes.
So we're going to use those and put that towards seller credits.
Right. Yeah, we love to get those fat seller credits. I love it. I love it. I think I've got like on my deals right now, probably about $500,000 in seller credits. It's crazy.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So one thing
you're so good at what you do, Nikki.
Aw, thanks. You too. I appreciate that. But the multifamily buildings, I think it's for the right investor.
Yeah.
It's for the investor that wants appreciation.
Yep.
The investor that wants cash flow, yes. But it is not for the
afraid
faint
to
of
get their
heart.
hands dirty.
Yeah, because it does need that work. Now, you have the team here.
Everyone.
You've obviously got your partner is, and a master electrician.
Yeah.
Like we're tapped into the contractor network here. We have multi millions of renovation projects happening right now.
Definitely.
So we have the team of people that can
Well,
do
not
those
only
things.
that, but I'm going through it myself.
Yeah.
So I'm putting in the permits with the historical district. And you will have holding costs for a couple of months because you do have to wait for permitting. But on the other side of that is,
Yes.
a $50,000-$60,000 one unit
Right.
times 4.
Right.
So
And
it's
even
kind of
more
just up front
right?
that you have to,
Yeah.
just wait out the storm for a little bit.
Yeah. And be willing to do that work, and then know that you're going to have that healthy after renovation value,
Yeah,
right?
and
Because
then the resale value on that. I mean, if you put the work into it, right now the comps on, so my client right now that we're closing today, actually.
yay.
Yes. He bought his fourplex for 800, and those actually he got a steal on this because it's 3-2. So
They're all 3-2 units.
yes.
Wow.
So
4.
three. They're actually 2-1s,
Okay.
but they will be converted later.
Right.
And so the way that that's working is he got it for 800, which it was originally posted for 1.1 2 months ago.
Wow.
That it needs a lot of work.
Yes.
So we ended up getting that price down, which is great. And then he's hired Funkit out of Austin.
That's cool.
And they're doing it like, this is what I love about my clients that listen to me.
Yes.
I said, this is what you need to do. You got to go in and you got to make it just right, and you're going to crush it here.
Right.
And you're going to be the first one to do it.
Yes.
You're the only one that's going to have a property like this.
Yes.
And so he's super excited, and
That's cool.
every day texting me like, Funkit is really cool because they sent a playlist that goes with the theme.
What?
Yes, a Spotify
that.
playlist that shows like this is the vibe that we're bringing.
What's
to
the banger
house.
on the list?
Let's see, Arctic monkeys.
Oh, yes. Love Arctic monkeys.
And then, of course, my favorite's Lana Del Rey doing time.
Of course, your favorite's that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, this is really cool.
That's Jacksonville. That's definitely screaming Jacksonville to me.
So Riverside is like the hipster neighborhood.
Yeah.
This is
very
like
eclectic.
Very eclectic. It's different, and it's
so many great foodie spots.
Yes, and that
bars,
20 to 30, even up to 40 range.
Yeah,
it is very eclectic with the arts, and
they have the coolest shops there.
They do.
Like, is it Midnight Sun? Is that what's the name of it? Midnight Sun there? That big spiritual shop?
Oh, you're thinking Metaphysical or Meta Earth. That's Springfield. But yes, I'm sure there's one in Riverside.
No, there's one in Riverside. I want to say it's Midnight Sun.
Oh, maybe.
And I love, like, it's just, it is a really cool vibe there. And then they do for the holidays, they do that luminary celebration.
The historic. They all light up the little lanterns.
Yep.
And
it's so beautiful.
It's neat. It's a very much community feel.
Yeah.
And
by the way, back to what's that ARV? What are you projecting? I know it's a little hard because it's a very unique property. We don't have appraisals, but like, what are you thinking? So he's going to make this epic super property. Obviously, it's going to cash flow like crazy. He's probably going to get a 20% plus cash on cash return. But what are we looking at for like after renovated value?
Well, I am guessing he's going to have at least 250, 300.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Because of the number of units.
Yeah.
He's putting in a pool in the back. They're going to have a martini glass in the pool.
That's cool.
Like it's a vibe.
Yeah. So we're looking at, he's probably going to be about $1 million in. Going to probably not cash flow, but gross about $300,000 a year.
Yeah.
That's 20%. That's way above 20%. We don't have actuals, so I don't want to say what it would exactly be, but I know it's going to be probably 20 to 25%. At least, yeah. And then once he's done completely renovating and setting up this property, what do you think it'll be worth?
Oh, 1.5, 1.6.
Wow.
Yeah, I would say, because right now the comp that we have that's just bare bones basic 6-bedroom is 1.2.
Okay.
So
this is he's doing a lot of value add, so I could see that.
So I would say that
that's gonna be awesome.
There, yeah.
I mean, he's gonna be able to get all his cash out
Definitely.
And go do another project, and then that one will still be cash flowing him. So
well, now
that's
he's
cool.
like addicted to Riverside and Springfield. He loves Jack. It's funny because he was all beachfront lifestyle property. This is all that I want. I don't care about anything else. And then I was like, after showing probably 20 properties on the beach,
yes.
Can we please just go downtown? I just want to drive you through it so you can see it.
Yeah.
All right, Dashia, I'll go downtown.
Yes.
And he got to Riverside and he was like, this is it.
Yeah.
This is the vibe I want.
That's cool.
Yeah. So it's just cool to see, somebody like trust in the process and actually go through with it. Because I've had other clients that I tell them, hey, you need the pool, you need the garage ADU in San Marco. And none of it is done. And so they're not going to get the returns. You know? Like, that's kind of the point of working with a savvy agent is that we know our market well enough to be able to speak on what does work and what doesn't.
Yeah.
And, what you do afterwards is I want to help you with it.
Right.
But, you have to actually follow through with it, too. So.
Yeah, that's the thing about us. We're not just closing a transaction. We're literally, like...
seeing it through.
I mean,
Here's my contractors. Here's
I was just
everything.
taking project updates, photos for my client, and, like, renegotiating contractors, and, like, we do so much, right? But, so I want to talk about why this shift has come to Jacksonville. So a lot of people don't understand why Jacksonville is now blowing up. And something that is so cool. So, the Baptist Church used to own all of the downtown area in Jacksonville. And in the last 5 years, they have sold almost all of that land. And what that means is when they owned all the land, that means they controlled everything. And a Baptist church controlling a downtown city, nothing was allowed. Yeah. It was and it became completely full of crime. And, it was just not a place.
Left, nobody went down to ghost town.
Right.
You just didn't go there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And there was nothing to go to because they wouldn't let anything happen, and so now they've sold that land. They started selling it in 2020 and they sold it, over the years here. And so now they have no control. And so now tell us about all the billions of dollars of development projects that's happening in Jacksonville.
Oh my gosh, this is why it's so exciting.
Yeah.
So, in downtown proper, so if you're on the north bank of the river, that's where all of the redevelopments are happening. And so that's closest to the Springfield neighborhood. And it it's cool. So we have the Stadium of the Future that's happening. So Shad Khan has come in and really capitalized on the fact that all of this land is available. So Stadium of the Future is being renovated. I think that's close to a $2 billion project.
Yeah.
He's bringing in the Armada, so the MLS soccer stadium is going to be built. The Four Seasons, they have a 100 boat slip luxury yacht marina.
Right.
That's going to be there.
That's crazy because up and down the coast of Florida, you really don't have that until you get to like Miami.
Right.
And so
Definitely.
I see Jacksonville being like the caliber of what Miami is with a totally different vibe, right?
Yeah.
Like we're nothing like Miami.
I know he's trying to go for that luxury. Like he really wants to bring in a certain caliber of people to Jacksonville, and I think that he's positioning it to do that.
Yes.
I mean, we have a lot of New Yorkers that are coming here. We have a lot of New Jersey. We have a lot of Northeast New Englanders. And, a lot of those people, they love this area because it still feels very family oriented.
Yes.
It still feels small. It
Right.
doesn't feel like a really big metropolitan city.
Right.
And so it's you get kind of both of those things. So it's kind of, and we got the country on the other side too, like farms and
Yes.
so
And then we have these awesome beaches.
yeah, so you kind of get everything here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we have that, and then they're building a river walk on the north bank and the south bank. And so the river walk is going to have I think they're calling it the Music Heritage Park, where they're going to have
so cool.
it looks like a big music note,
That's
and it's
cool.
right on the water.
Yeah.
And they've got yoga parks that are right on the water. They do yoga every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. and it's just
awesome.
changing,
Yeah.
Like I went down there to the South Bank River's Edge and walked it the other day, and I just couldn't believe how many people were there.
Right.
But also just the nature paths that you can walk on.
Right.
I mean, it's just gorgeous.
Well, when I was a kid, it was the Jack's Landing. And anybody who's been around remembers that. And it was thriving though.
Yeah.
And then it just, everything
Dried
just, dried up.
Yeah.
And, to see that all being revitalized, that makes my heart happy.
Yeah.
It's like that
You can
area.
come back to Jacksonville and
I
hang
know,
out.
right? I might get an investment property there. Shoot, after this podcast, y'all don't go buy one. I'm going to buy one. It's really like, it's because let's talk about it. It is sad. Like there's this yin and yang of, it's sad that to be honest, years ago, before all this redevelopment happened, I didn't feel safe to go down there.
Yeah.
Most people didn't feel safe.
Yeah.
And
I think that thought is still in like Jacksonville natives' minds, or they've been talking about the Springfield revitalization forever, but it's actually happening right now.
Right.
So I think a lot of people are kind of negative on it, locals, because they don't really think it's going to happen.
True.
But if you go to the DIA website, you
Yeah.
can see everything that they've already, the permits, the under construction currently, the
Right.
future construction.
Right.
I mean, they've approved all of this.
What
so
does
they're on
DIA stand
board.
for?
The Downtown Investment Authority.
Yeah.
So
Got it.
yeah, so those guys are really putting everything together, and they're working hard to make this city,
Right.
putting it on the map.
Yeah. It's going to be crazy because like, the Four Seasons residences, the Four Seasons hotels. I mean, that's multi millions, hundreds of millions of dollar project development. We've also got the Emerald Trail, right?
So that's going to connect 14 historic neighborhoods together. And I love to see that because I'm originally from Indiana, and they did this there. And so they had the Monon Trail. And I just went to it last year. We rented e-bikes, and I can't believe the expansion.
Yeah.
Shops, restaurants, bars, everything you can think of along this trail. And I just envision, the Emerald Trail connecting all these really cool old historic neighborhoods together
Yeah.
via a walking path, e-bike path that you can go, and you can easily get to Riverside and San Marco and Springfield.
That's so cool. That's so cool.
Yeah.
And then they also redid the convention center recently, so that's
The
pretty
Prime
cool.
Osborne, yeah, it's gorgeous. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, eventually.
That brings a lot of people in.
Yeah, and Indianapolis is also like that as well. It's a very convention center town. So
yeah,
I foresee people wanting to come here for wellness conventions.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
my goal. That's my goal, is to get some wellness conventions on the map here so we can start to build that network of people and start to kind of be known as like the wellness. Because when you think of Florida, you kind of do think, sunshine and outdoors and
peace
and beaches
waves
and
yeah.
Exactly.
And honestly, a lot of Florida is rural. A lot of people who haven't been here, it's rural. Like you go and you can find just like, I mean, we just went to the Bulo State Park and had like all these old sugar mill plantation ruins and
Very
like
cool.
just these huge oak trees and like it's a lot of Florida is that nature,
Especially this part.
Yeah.
Like we're right next to Georgia, so we do have those massive oak trees.
Yes.
And it feels so peaceful just to be around that. But we have tons of parks here.
A lot.
22 miles
Park
of
heavy.
beaches and tons of parks. So lots of recreation. Tons of people love to go to the springs.
Me
the springs
too.
are beautiful.
Don't blame them.
Yeah.
Don't give away all the good ones.
I won't say anything.
Go. Y'all gotta DM us for that, or come with us.
Yeah, come with us. We'll go. Take you on a guided tour.
We're not putting it out there publicly because you guys don't know how to take care of springs.
That's true.
Y'all need to be kind to the earth. But a couple of areas that I will put one out there. Blue Springs Park. That's a state-owned spring. Not all of them are state-owned. Some of them are private. And I remember when I used to go there, like it was just so beautiful. And then people just disrespect it, by climbing on stuff that you're not supposed to climb on and in trash and just, it deteriorates. And they actually just did a revitalization on it. And now it's back open. But it was closed for a few years because they just had to.
People weren't taking care of it.
Yeah. And I'm like, gosh, okay, like we want these things to be around. And it's crazy. I was actually talking to my daughter last night about this.
Really?
Because she's learning in science about how, the earth and, how things are going as far as, how we're destroying things. And I was like, do you remember when I used to take you, to like Matanzas, for example, and how lush and beautiful it all is? Now it's all dead.
Yeah.
It's all dead.
Ugh.
There's nothing, and so it's for me, and I'm like, okay, well, part of nature is nature, that's going to happen. But we definitely need to do our part to respect it. So
But there's tons of parks
Yeah.
here that are just absolutely stunning.
Yes.
So you definitely have that as well. And then I was kind of looking into this. This is just kind of a new idea, but there's all these little islands off the coast of the St. Johns River. And I'm just thinking, what if we start to explore those? What if we do some hikes on those, or get to get out on a boat for the day on the St. Johns River and just take a look and see what we can see? But
that'd be cool.
Down the road, but
I'm down for island hopping. Let's go. So there's just under $7 billion worth of development projects right now in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Another part of that is the airport.
Yeah, so they're expanding the airport. They're adding another concourse, hopefully for more direct flights. Right now, a lot of flights have layovers in Atlanta, so I think that's going to bring in a lot of tourism.
Yeah.
Nobody likes the Atlanta airport, so
right.
if you can
Nobody
get
wants to go through Atlanta. No.
Yeah, and then we also have the Norwegian cruise line that just opened up, so that's going to be coming out of Jacksonville as well, which is just another area for the beaches to have overnight stays, because a lot of people just don't drive directly and then
get on the boat.
boat. They usually stay a couple days. So
True.
on both ends of those, before before it takes off and when it gets back.
There was another cruise line already here. Was it Carnival?
I think it's Carnival.
Or Royal?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because we already had that. I didn't know that Norwegian just came in.
I think
that's
November.
big.
Yeah, I think November.
That's really big.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that
because we've got major shipyards. We've got all of that. So that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Florida. So we know what you're doing. We know what Jacksonville's doing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what Florida's doing, right? We're Florida strong. We love Florida. I love other states too. But
Florida's
I do love Florida for investors. There's like the new thing going on, the free state of Florida. That's like, I think Governor DeSantis is like really pushing that.
I mean, it's true though.
And
like I left California for a reason, and I knew I wanted to come to Florida, and this was it. So I put off all of my investment plans because I just knew it wasn't going to happen there.
Right.
And I decided Florida was it. And so when I finally got here, it's just boots on the ground, hit the ground running. And I feel like a lot of people feel like that.
Yes.
You know, like we're seeing everything that's happening across the board in other states. I won't name anything, but, you know, like people are looking more and more every day at this area, not just to move to, but also to invest.
Yes.
Because they really take care of their investors here, I think.
They do.
And they take care of our own first and foremost. I know they're talking about doing away with property taxes for homestead.
Yep.
And so that's pretty cool.
Yes.
That'd be really nice. And there are a lot of investors here. So, you know, if the investors are paying property taxes on their properties and that helps out, more people are going to move here. That's for sure.
Yeah. Some of my investors do the strategy where they want to get away from the state taxes. So Florida, the reason why I love Florida, no state income tax.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is beautiful, right? They are very pro property owner rights. Okay. And especially when it comes to short-term rentals. The reason why that is because our state is funded directly by the tourism taxes, and that is how we make our money, and that is why we don't have the state income tax. And we have a very balanced budget, very healthy budget. It's managed very well in my opinion. And that tourism tax brings us billions and billions of dollars in revenue. And that's something that you have to pay when you go to a hotel, but you also have to pay that when you have a short-term rental. And they enforce this heavily. And I think that they should, because any short-term rental owner should be paying their tourism taxes. And that keeps you from having to pay state income tax, right?
Yeah,
so
it's a business.
Yeah, I absolutely love that.
And that gets passed on to
the guests, right?
Yeah,
so. The guests are paying, just like you pay sales tax. You're paying, and they can't avoid it. No matter where you stay in Florida, you have to pay tourism.
Have to pay at a hotel.
Yeah, if you go to Disney, you're paying tourism tax, right? And I absolutely love that. There's activists and lobbyists, and we're getting involved in this more now, who are actually lobbying at the state. There was a bill, SB 280, where they're actually trying to push that no city or county could restrict property owner's right to do short-term rentals. And that's something I am fully behind. I think that every property owner should have the right to do with their property, as long as they maintain things and follow the rules, that they should be allowed to do it. So I love that Florida is, enforcing that. I also love the weather.
Yes.
The weather is amazing, right?
Definitely. Yeah. I love that we have 2 seasons here.
Yeah, 2 whole seasons.
We get 2 seasons in this Northeast Florida area, fall and summer.
Yep. Basically.
So that's great. But to speak to, the tourism tax and everything that's happening there, it's interesting that the city can come in and kind of restrict people from being able to do that.
Yes.
You should, like you said, you should be able to do what you want with that property. Now, I get that, the neighbors, they don't love having short-term rentals, but that's if they're managed poorly.
Right.
So at least I know with Savvy that we're getting investors who are responsible.
Yes.
And we're also
and they're proud of their
on them.
Yeah.
We're saying, hey, like your property is my baby as well.
Yeah.
Like if you do a bad job, that looks poorly on me. And if you do a great job, that looks great on me. So I want you to run a really stellar property.
Yeah.
And that means that you're taking care of your neighbors and you're not, doing any nefarious activities.
Yes.
But also just, running a tight ship. It's all about your property management. How are you managing this property? And a lot of them are far away, but they'll hire, closer property management teams to take care of them, or they just know how to do it, a mill, and you get a revenue and all of the different things that Savvy has to offer our clients.
Right.
We have a whole network of branded partners that we can offer them, so you can be the best at what you do if you just listen to your expert Savvy agent, right?
Yeah, the thing I like about Florida is it's been hundreds of years of a vacation rental destination, so it's there's pockets, and you have to kind of know where to go, which is why you want to work with someone that really understands short-term rentals and that specific market. But a lot of HOAs don't allow it except for the beachfront condos. We've got some opportunity there, but in the single family world, you do want to make sure that you're buying in a place that it is mostly vacation rentals,
Exactly.
right? And there's a lot of demand there because there are more kind of family-based neighborhoods and that aren't really the best. And the reason why is they're not really in the best location, at least in my little area. But then those multifamily are great because those usually have really good zoning.
Those are transient anyways.
Exactly.
Like you have people in and out. It's not unexpected that you're going to have a short-term rental person there
Right.
versus mid-term versus long-term. So yeah, in that area, it's very high rental heavy, Riverside and Springfield, they want to revitalize Springfield. The neighbors there are very close as well, very close-knit community. They're not really pushing back on Airbnbs there at all.
That's great.
Short-term rental, because they want people coming in that area. They know that the more people that are coming in and spending money when they go out to eat, that makes the restaurant business do better.
Yes.
That makes the bar business do better.
Right.
That makes their shop on the
and it
corner
keeps
do better.
people healthy and happy. They're people that live there, work there, play there. That's really what we want is, and that's what we're all about with short-term rentals. I mean, it in my opinion, when you do short-term rentals right, it only improves, the livelihood, the community, and
well, I mean, not everybody wants to go to a hotel, when they're on vacation. They're with their families. They don't want to be sleeping in a bed next to each other and hear everybody in the bathroom. Like they want to have a little more privacy. They want to have that experience space. They want to have that pool outside. They can go, or you can spend time at the property, or you can go out and spend money in the community. And, a lot of people do that as well. So I think that it just benefits the community so much better, and it benefits the traveler.
Definitely. So I've loved learning, all about the market and what you're up to and what good deals are. Is there anything else that you want to share about you or your market with the listeners?
Well, I just feel like one of the major things when I talk to my clients is that, oh, well, these numbers aren't here. These numbers aren't here. And so I'm just really trying to get the point across that not only are you getting the appreciation, but the numbers are coming.
Yes.
The numbers are coming, and you're going to be spending 2, 3, 4 months renovating your place anyways while the numbers are coming.
Right.
And the big point is that you can get the bonus depreciation.
Yes.
So when you buy the house that needs all of the work, that's just more stuff that you can put on your bonus depreciation.
That's
your
right.
cost seg study, right?
That's right.
And so it really is a good market for that. And then, you won't be able to buy here in the future for what you're getting it for now. Actually, River's Edge, the new park on the South Bank, I was going through there, and those townhomes are starting at $750.
Wow.
I mean, that's high for Jacksonville. So that just goes to show you what's coming.
Right.
And so if you start now, you're going to be
happy
you did.
Yeah. And so not everyone wants to do value add. Do you see any turnkey opportunities anywhere in your market?
The beach always has turnkey.
Yeah.
If you're coming downtown, you're going to have to put in a little bit of work to it. That's for sure.
Right.
Unless you get a single family that has been renovated, there are plenty of those.
Right.
Definitely. So that's an option. I'm not saying that it's only multifamily that you're getting here. I just like the multi-play personally because you can get 4 units and then you have the flexibility afterwards to do whatever you want with them. But we have beautiful old historic homes. I mean, these homes are stunning, and a lot of them have been redone.
Yeah.
That comes at a higher price point.
Of course.
You're getting it a little bit closer to $1 million for that.
Yeah.
But
that's more like the play if you just really want the tax benefits. You're not, your main goal isn't cash on cash, right?
Exactly.
And not that it wouldn't maybe cash flow a little bit, but it's really like appreciation and tax benefits for, you get a trophy asset.
Yeah, you
right?
do. You get a riverfront trophy asset. And it's also beautiful. But you just have to understand that that's kind of where it is in this market. And once you know that and you're ready, call me.
Call. So perfect intro. How can they get a hold of you? Where should they follow you? Tell them, because I know they're going to want to.
You can book with me, www.savvy.realty/Dashia, Dashia. I know it's a weird way to spell it, but that's how it is.
I love it. I think it's cool.
And that's my booking calendar, so you can find me there. The Savvy Wellness Realtor is my Instagram handle.
Savvy Wellness Realtor, okay.
Yes, and on Facebook, I'm just Dashia LoCoco.
That's awesome. Do you want to throw out your phone number or no?
Yeah, 904-625-0546.
Text her now.
Text me right now.
Yeah, she's literally got a whole spreadsheet ready for those
I do.
value add
Got all
multifamily
these
deals.
Multifamilies, off markets too.
Yeah, let's freaking go.
Woo!
Well, thank you for being with us today. I had so much fun.
Yes, this has been great.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it was really great. And I might have to buy a multi-unit in Jacksonville,
Come
y'all.
Come on, girl.
That'd be cool.
You.
And thank you guys for tuning in to the Invest with Nikkei podcast. Can't wait to see you again soon.
All right. Thank you.